Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 3, and this is going to be my review for episode 21, the third last episode of the season, otherwise entitled Cause and Effect. So obviously before we go ahead, there will be spoilers within this video for the episode, so if you have not watched it, you might want to go watch it before you watch the rest of this, obviously, so yeah, there's your warning. So obviously last episode, not to mention, all of what happened last episode, but specifically the last, 2 or 3 minutes, we saw the reveal of Savitar and it ended up being, well, a version of Barry. And we were sort of left, on a bit of a cliffhanger edge, wondering, okay, it's Barry, but, what version of Barry is it? Like, how did this Barry become Savitar? And that is essentially where this episode picked up, and we find out that Savitar, or this Savitar Barry, is actually one of the leftover time remnants that was created by the future Barry 4 years into the future in 2021 when he, eventually defeats Savitar. So Savitar killed all the other time remnants, but this one was left alive on purpose by Savitar, so this one could end up actually becoming Savitar. And this time remnant didn't know at that point that he was going to become Savitar, but he was shunned and shunned by everyone on Team Flash and Barry, and just forgotten about, became broken, just became, a broken, human being because, he was this, extra Barry in this timeline. And he needs to kill Iris, so Barry is driven into the darkness, creates his time remnants and repeats the cycle into this other time remnant becoming Savitar. But this whole thing is brought up in the show, or in this episode, and it's confusing as to explain what came first, Savitar or this time remnant, and there's no real answer to that. It's just a time loop. So it's basically like, as they say on the show, a chicken and egg situation with Savitar. So it's a bit hard to explain properly in regards to who came first, because what came first, the chicken or the egg? But they might give more details to that in the next 2 episodes in regards to that, like Savitar might full on explain. But he wasn't too big of an part of this episode, Savitar, apart from the beginning and some parts throughout the middle of the episode. But it really didn't need to focus on him too much for this episode. One cool thing involving Savitar, even though he wasn't in the episode too much, was his suit, how it has a mind of its own, basically. So in the trailer breakdown for this episode, I was saying, okay, the lights aren't on Savitar's suit, so what happens there? And obviously it turns out it's because the suit wasn't, filled with a Barry, so there was no speed force energy going through that suit. But I thought that was pretty cool. I can just walk around and, beat people up. So that was a pretty cool addition to the Savitar suit. I did not expect that to happen. Now, the main part of this episode, and we could tell from the trailer that this was going to be the case, is that Cisco wants to stop Barry from making new short-term memories, so Savitar himself can't know or remember what occurred during that time period. So, he can, remember who everyone is, but he just can't remember certain things leading up to Iris's supposed death. So Savitar can't remember what exactly happened, so he isn't those 2 or 10 steps ahead as he's been saying throughout the season. Unfortunately, obviously, Cisco made a bit of a boo-boo, I guess you could say, and actually has Barry's complete memory wiped. Apart from general, human actions and words and stuff like that, Barry can't remember his name, which I thought was hilarious, and just everyone around him, on everything from childbirth up to the point we are at the moment. But speaking of things being hilarious, this episode of The Flash was, I think, one of the funniest I've watched. I'm trying to remember back. It's hard to remember back to, a specific episode. But from recent memory, I was laughing a lot in this episode. Laughing out loud. A lot of the times I'll chuckle, but there was times where I was, full on laughing for about a good 10 seconds or so. So there was a good couple of jokes and, comedic moments in this episode. And it definitely worked with, Barry having his memory wiped and he just had no idea who he was. He was this completely different person. I think it worked really, really well in this episode. One thing that I actually really did enjoy in this episode, though, was the Bart Allen shout-out by Barry. Obviously, he looks at his wallet. He's like, oh, Bartholomew, that's a bit of a weird name. You went with Barry? I prefer Bart. And he continues on with that. Obviously, if you didn't know who Bart Allen is, he is Impulse, then Kid Flash, and at one point becomes The Flash. So he's a descendant of Barry Allen and Iris West. So I thought that was a nice little Easter egg, I guess you could say, and just, bringing Bart Allen into the show without actually having the character there. Now, a little subplot of the episode was HR and Tracy Brand, and I think they are building that up, trying to get them connected. Obviously, it's a motivation thing for Tracy in regards to her work, but also I think it's something that we might see next episode, or it could be in the finale in regards to HR's fate, because I don't really see HR surviving the end of the season. And we do see in the big sizzle reel thing they released the other day, was it yesterday actually? Yeah, it was. Tracy Brand is like screaming in the trailer, and I think that could be where HR dies, but we'll have to wait and see. But they are trying to form a quick connection between them two, just so like when Tracy feels pain, we probably feel pain as well. But this episode, there was just them really working on the Speed Force weapon that, that Tracy makes in 2021, but trying to get it done at this point in time. Now, obviously, with Barry forgetting his memories, Savitar started forgetting his memories as well. I thought they might have gone a bit deeper with that, but there was really only one scene, and it was really to set up another character doing something. So Killer Frost is going to check on Savitar, and he's like freaking out because he doesn't know who he is, why he's doing what he's doing, and stuff like that. Now, I saw some people a bit confused on Twitter. Like, I quickly jumped on Twitter for about 2 minutes or something, and people were saying, okay, Wally lost his powers because of Barry losing his memories. But I'm 99% sure, tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm pretty sure this is what it is. Wally's forgetting his losing his powers because Savitar's forgot his memories, and then Savitar wouldn't have been able to give Wally his powers. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, so I just want to quickly mention that. Now, obviously, I mentioned Killer Frost, and we saw Killer Frost help out Team Flash in this case, and it was very interesting seeing her back in that, back in Star Labs working with the other members of Team Flash, and like Cisco trying to get through to the Caitlyn side of her, which did work, and you could see like the Killer Frost side trying to fight off the Caitlyn side. So obviously they're trying to set up that Killer Frost might not become necessarily good come the end of the season, but could become like that type of anti-hero, which I think I did mention in my sizzle reel trailer breakdown thing yesterday. So they're just trying to, make it so she's not completely evil, but she's not completely on the side of good. But obviously Caitlyn was the expert on the brains, and she's able to, fix everything in regards to that. And she needs Barry to start remembering all this stuff so Savitar can remember all of his stuff, so the plan can work out and Caitlyn can get what she wants. Now, seeing Barry learn all of his powers all over again, even though it was like a short thing, I thought they might have done the end thing with him not having his memories, but they didn't go with that. But I thought that was a nice little callback to Season 1, because if you go back to like Episode 1 of Season 1, it's pretty similar. Like, Barry just starts running all of a sudden and just feels all the lightning going through his body, and it would be insanely awesome. Like, the whole point of the Barry Allen character is that he's meant to be sort of like if an everyday person got superpowers. Like, he reacts the same way we would. And, this Barry with his forgotten memories did the exact same. And I think they did the same thing in Episode 1 of Season 1. So it was cool to sort of like relive that. Now, I don't think it was very surprising that they used Iris to like bring back the memory. And it was a dark memory, I guess, because it was was it the night of, or was it the next night, or like the morning of when Barry's parents, or Barry's mum, died. So they brought back that dark memory to reignite Barry's brain so he could save everyone in that building. Now, I don't know if that dude is a villain in the comics. I can't remember the name Heatmonger ever in the comics, so correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was just made for the episode, but it was just that throwaway villain sort of, they do that all the time. Just that throwaway villain to get Barry's, just something for Barry to stop, and I guess obviously Kid Flash came in and joined on the party. Now, one thing I was not expecting in this episode, but now that, we saw what happened, it completely makes sense why they did it so it could set up next episode, but that was the reveal of the Speed Force bazooka that they were calling it. They actually said Speed Force cannon earlier on, and I think that's what a lot of people were calling it that had seen the behind the scenes footage of them filming the finale, or was it I think it was the finale. So I thought it was funny that they actually mentioned Speed Force cannon, but they've given it the term the Speed Force bazooka because why not? But unfortunately for this Speed Force bazooka, it's going to need quite a lot of energy. I think they said it was at 3.8 terajoules or kilojoules, something like that. So it's more energy than the sun. And of course, where is this energy source kept that they're going to need? It's in Argus, of all places, which of course sets up next episode. But I guess one of the bigger reveals is that King Shark is in the enclosure where that energy source is. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the Dominator's mind control thing? I'm pretty sure it is. Now, I don't know if Argus is just having it there and like King Shark is just meant to be protecting it. So if anyone came in trying to get it, King Shark eats them. Or if that mind control thing is that they've been able to like tap into it and they can mind control King Shark. Because I'm pretty sure that's the Dominator's mind control thing. If it's not, let me know in the comment section below, but I'm pretty sure it is. But I think it's pretty cool that they brought that back up from the crossover. And they even mentioned like the 2056 Barry thing from the crossover. But I thought that was really strange that they mentioned that. I thought that was really weird because that thing was introduced on Legends. It was quickly brought up in the crossover. I thought that felt a bit out of place. So if there's a negative from the episode, I think it was mentioning that 2056 Barry, but anyway. But overall, I thought this episode was actually, for what it was, I think it was actually really solid. I can understand why some people might not like it, but for the third last episode, it set up what we needed going into the second last episode in regards to the solution to the problem of Savitar, which is this Speed Force weapon that Tracy Brand has made. You could argue that maybe the third last episode of the season, like this episode, should have been revolved around, getting this power source, and then the two last episodes can be about figuring out how to trap Savitar, or get Savitar in the spot where they can use this weapon. But for the most part, I thought this episode did a really good job. I thought it was really funny and really good character moments as well, and a lot of character development. But obviously I will have my trailer breakdown out for the next episode later on, so keep your eyes out for that. But if you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it. It'd be very much appreciated. Let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think of this episode? Am I correct in saying that that is the Dominator's mind control thing? Because I'm pretty sure it is. There's a slight chance I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure it is. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys, and goodbye.